Chesapeakists, my name is Jim, and welcome to Chesapeake Explorers. For the inaugural episode in this series, I'd like to take a brief moment and describe to you the area which we'll be exploring. The Chesapeake Bay is a vast region on the Atlantic seaboard. The waterway itself stretches 200 miles from the mouth of Susquehanna in Maryland southwards into southern Virginia. The larger watershed extends from the Atlantic Ocean westward into West Virginia and northward from Virginia through Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and finally into New York. It's a really big area. That being said, it is the largest estuary in the United States, covering 64,000 square miles, including over 150 plus rivers and streams, more than 300 species of fish, shellfish, and crab, and thousands of other wildlife species, including 300 migratory bird species, with 1 million ducks, geese, and swans returning to the bay each fall, living alongside 83,000 farms and 17 million people, generating over $10 billion in revenue annually. And that isn't even half of the astounding facts about the Bay Area. In this series, we'll be exploring the Bay, learning about it, and how it plays into the ecology and economy of not just the Chesapeake area, but in the larger northern Atlantic region. We will also be taking a keen look at different technological tools available to us for exploration and education and how to use them. Most importantly, this show is a journey we hope to share with you as we discover and learn the majesty that's outside our back doors. Okay, let's get exploring. Before any real adventure, it's good to get at least moderately familiar with the surrounding area in which you plan to explore. There are many books about the Chesapeake Bay, each excellent and informative. However, we've chosen to approach the bay in a different manner. Rather than looking at a map and picking a destination, we've chosen to take a step back into time and familiarize ourselves with the bay of the past and compare it with the bay of the present. We're going to do this with this book, The Bay. It's an amazing treatise on personal observations of the Bay published in 1951 by the self-taught naturalist Gilbert Klingel. The book is a collection of observations by Klingel over 43 years of his life at that time on the Bay. Klingel was one of those amazing people in history who stand out against the backdrop of their time. The way they carry themselves, talk about issues that concerned them, learned, and educated those around them, extols an amazing inner strength and deeper understanding about the people and places around them. In 17 chapters and 278 pages, Klingel describes a bay that is absolutely astonishing. In the first chapter, he talks about descending the water column in the middle of the night. 20 feet of water above his head, 30 feet to go, and the incredible bioluminescence that he sees in the bay. When he finally touches down on the bottom, he waits for a long period of time and observes eels, crabs, fishes of all types, and describes them in amazing detail. The Bay book is a time capsule. It's one that describes the Bay as he saw it in 1951. In 2020, we're going to try to do similar observations and compare the Bay of old with the Bay of the new to see how the changes progressed over the years. Now, Klingel also knew that things were kind of going downhill in the 1950s, and through the 70s and 80s, the Chesapeake Bay was a virtual dead zone. But it's not all doom and gloom, and I'll save the rest of that story for later episodes. Right now, we're going to get back and take a look at the instruments that we're going to use to help us observe the Bay and compare it to the Bay of the Old. Explorers, we hope you're convinced that this ROV kit will answer nicely in our explorations of the Bay. Now, this kit is just one in a number of platforms we'll be using to explore the Bay. Originally in this series, we were planning about 30 minutes an episode, and we still want to do this. However, in the middle of this episode, the COVID-19 pandemic gripped the world, and in practicing social distancing, good hygiene, and protecting our family, friends, and neighbors, we've had to modify this episode slightly. And so we'll leave you now with a time-lapse video of the next platform we'll talk about and introduce, an autonomous surface vehicle with a sonar attached to it to do bathymetric studies. Next time, we will look at the ROV again with a different deployment plan, capturing the data and analyzing the data, cross-referencing with that given by Gilbert Klingel, and looking at the boat, the ASV, and how we can use it in bay exploration. Until next time, thank you. We hope you learned something. We certainly have. And remember, explorers, science, education, assessment, restoration, and conservation. We do this for the Bay and for our generations to come. Thank you.